You're tuning into It's a Vibe. Let the poetry lead you in. So today's conversation is with a friend of mine, Juan, who I met at a poetry open mic night in Los Angeles, along with his wife, Sarah, who is expecting, and I'm also very excited for you both. I know you have a lot going on, also with running your small business, your thrift bus that sources vintage fashion. How is that going all for you?
It's going good. Like you said, it's a year of it's a time of change. It's a
Yeah.
time of adjustment. Unfortunately, I think we've been navigating pretty well and just, I think approaching it with a lot of curiosity rather than anxiety to keep just to stay grounded and to just kind of let things flow and come as they
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective to have. Well, I know with me also like going through changes and I also got a new job. I know you're pivoting your career. You had a background in education, but you recently like kind of realigned yourself with creativity and you're putting your full force in that, which I respect so much.
They,
I wanted to ask like what prompted you to put like your full focus in your creative pursuits?
First off, shout out for the new job.
Thank you.
Oh, always exciting. Uh I think it was just an array of experiences. Like I can't pinpoint one specific thing.
Yeah.
Um, but like you said, I spent 10 years, like 13 years in total in education, 10 years in the classroom. 3 years, the last 3 years I shifted into like nonprofit leadership.
Mhm.
And like I'm about the work, man. I'm a social justice advocate, social justice educator. I always push the agenda in every space that I was in. And I kept hitting bumps, and I just grew increasingly frustrated when I made this jump into the leadership role, nonprofit space. I was like, this is it. This is the moment. There's so much going on as a teacher that I felt I needed to get out to be able to support teachers, families, kids, communities. And so I make this jump and I'm seeing the same things, but even worse because I have now access to conversations that I didn't have before. And I'm like, wait, this is what y'all doing? This is what y'all saying?
Yeah.
And then we're saying this other thing to the people?
Yeah.
I can't do this. So I started to experience just this dissonance whenever I was sitting in meetings, whenever I was showing up in spaces. And there's some problematic about people showing up as their full authentic selves.
Mm.
Uh, and I felt like I was carrying that. I felt like I was getting pushed back and
Mhm.
getting like specifically scrutinized
Mhm.
because of how I show up, because of me being as outspoken about the things that I stand for. Uh, and so that was one of the components. That dissonance started to grow. I think as that dissonance started to grow, my creativity started to call. And it had been calling. I just had been ignoring it, right?
Yeah.
Sarah can attest to this, but since I met her, I was like, yo, I miss writing. And we've been together 6 years. And
Mhm.
so I went through this very long time of just not actively writing, not actively like doing creative things in general. And it was a constant for me that it would come out. I'm like, man, I miss writing. Man, I miss performing. Man, I miss it, right? And my creative energy was going into my work, right? Into spaces that didn't necessarily need it. Uh, and so, creativity is also calling. And then we started a thrift bus, and I feel like that was a big moment for me in his journey because I never view myself as an entrepreneur. But then through the thrift bus, I was like, wait, the thrift bus was Sarah's idea. And I was like,
Yeah.
can I tag along? Can I be a part of this journey? She was like, of course, like you're my husband. Of course
Yeah.
you're gonna be a part of this journey. Right.
Mhm.
Uh and so with the thrift bus, I start to see myself also as an entrepreneur. And then I'm thinking like, all right, I don't like this thing that I'm doing. I feel my creativity calling. And then there's a thrift bus. I think it was a beautiful convergence. And we met in this open mic, Chevalier's, and that was like Chevalier holds a very special place in my heart because after many years of not writing or performing, like Sarah was walking around a Larchmont and she came across the bookstore. She was like, "Hey, there's an open mic in here. You should go." And I went and I was like, "Whoa." I felt it back, right? I felt like things sparking again. And so it took me like a year to finally take that leap, but I hit this moment of like the fear of growing old and not doing the things that I feel like speak to
Oh.
my soul and speak to my heart
Mhm.
was bigger than the fear of like taking that leap, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I did it and I took that leap and here we are leaning fully into my creativity.
Yeah, I resonate with that. And I think it's so important to like harness your creativity because I think that's our power in like reshaping society. And I also feel like entrepreneurship is tied to creativity. In order to be an entrepreneur, you have to be creative. Um, yeah, both hand in hand. And I feel like most creatives, like they're freelancers, they're doing their own thing. Just because, corporate America doesn't allow us certain ways of being
Mm.
and expressing ourselves, and I've certainly witnessed that. And yeah, I think it's a powerful move that you made. So I'm excited to see where you go in the future. And yes, you only have this one life on this earth to see what you can do, and I want to explore all capacities. So that's great. I did want to talk on your poetry,
Okay.
and I believe it speaks on many levels about like the state of our society, also the quality of our interpersonal relationships, like our inner being. So I just wanted to ask, what do you love most about writing poetry?
Ooh, everything.
Yeah.
No, man. I think for me, poetry is really just a processing space, right? Where I can sit down and just put my thoughts on paper and like really articulate it. And I feel like it probably happens to you when you like go back through some of your poems.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, ooh, look at me realizing things
Yeah.
in my work, right? So it really allows me to just process and look at the world, like take a step back and look at myself, look at the world uh from like a little bit of a bird's eye view. I'd also say through that, there's like a lot of liberation. There's like a liberating feeling of being able to put your thoughts on paper and being able to like see these things concretely, like put like name the emotion and paint the emotion and paint the frustration, right? But just it's just fun, bro. I
Yeah.
love to sit down and just like just flow.
Just slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like poetry is really special because like even in music, it's like you're capturing an emotion that you can't really explain in plain words. And I
Hmm.
feel like poetry, it's just the language of our soul, and it's how like we really connect, you know,
Definitely.
as
Definitely.
as the spiritual beings we are.
Yeah. And I'll also say this. There's a lot of I was a poetry teacher for a while. Like kids would approach it with a lot of like, but I need to do this and I need to do that. And I'm like, no, bro, we're not at that age. We're not in that time where poetry has to be this constraining, constricting thing. Like you can be really, you can do whatever you want on that page, right? And
Yeah.
so it really like it just enables folks, right? So yeah.
I had a English teacher in middle school who she taught a little bit of poetry writing, and we had this like little game that we did where we like went to each corner of the room, and each corner was like a different type of poet or musician. Like she had Tupac, she had Jack Johnson, and like she like showed us Black Eyed Peas and like different variations of like how people write in a creative way, creative
Yeah.
writing. And so like we had like a packet to do our own prompts and like write different poetry inspired by these different creatives. And yeah, that kind of like relit my love for poetry. And it's been also kind of like on and off, but I also, like you, like really want to prioritize that muscle and grow that muscle because yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's really special. I really believe that like following your passion and being authentic to yourself will liberate society. I also wanted to ask you, how do you believe society can transform through the power of art? I know you're
Ooh.
already doing some of it.
I think just historically, like society has transformed through art. Like, you
Yeah.
see it at different iterations. It gives insight, it gives perspective. Poetry can be, and art in general can be combative, can be edgy, right? It can be all these things that like ultimately set foundations for change,
Hmm.
right? Set foundations for communication, set foundations for pushbacks, set people up to really start questioning,
Yeah.
who am I? What's going on in the world? Like, do I
Yeah.
resonate with this or do I not? Is this okay? Right? Is this not okay? Do I want to subscribe to that or not? Right? And so, yeah, just art, whether it's a poem, whether it's a song, whether it's a sculpture,
Mhm.
whatever, I think art is also like a very broad term. So like whatever you want to
Yeah,
call art, like it has that capacity to move people.
for
And
sure.
in moving people, you're moving community, and in moving community, you're generating change across.
Is there any specific artist or anything in the LA scene that you see shifting or you're excited about? Um,
Uh, so I've been in LA 3 years.
okay.
So to say that I'm seeing a shift, I don't think I've been long enough in the city to like
Yeah.
be able to pinpoint a specific shift. But I will say, coming in, I moved to LA and it was my first time in LA ever. And so you come in with this misconception, even I would call it, of
Yeah.
like LA is just Hollywood and big production companies and celebrities. And
Yeah.
while that's a part of it, LA has felt so conducive to creativity because there are so many spaces for everybody, right? There are, whether it's open mics, whether it's listening parties, whether it's art galleries, whether it's art galleries that host listening parties, like you got these very unconventional and funky places that invite people to share, to showcase their work, but also inspire you to create. Right? Why I love open mics is because I get that. Like I go and I sit and I listen. I'm like, all right, I like what he said. I like what she said. I
Yeah.
like what they said. Right? And then I go back and I'm like, my mind is percolating. And then I go
Hmm.
back to writing. Right?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel there's so many places like that in LA that often the outside view does not make justice to.
Yeah.
Um, but it is a very creatively conducive place, and I'm excited to see how it continues to shift, right? I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how it continues to grow in this more like unconventional, a little bit more underground space.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of like different art galleries I never knew of before in like downtown LA,
Hmm.
in Santa Monica, or like anywhere really. They're all just hidden in little nooks. And I'm like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have seen this. So and so told me about it. So yeah, it's so inspiring. And that's what I love about art too, or any type of like a different form of art than I do, which is I love writing. But like if I'm like listening to a song or I like see a painting, it like totally also like inspires me to like make something out of that and really contemplate, different ways of looking at the world. So, yeah, I love
Love
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also wanted to touch on some of your like volunteering efforts. I saw that you recently volunteered with Defy Ventures, right?
Hmm.
And that focuses on personal and professional development with the formerly incarcerated. So what types of training do you teach through Defy Ventures? What is that all about?
Ooh, Defy. Defy is a really dope organization. I will call that out first. I go into support with their entrepreneurship training, the state at state prisons. What that looks like is a whole bunch of folks come in and we go through rounds of entrepreneurial coaching, right? And so EITs, the entrepreneurs in training, as we call them, they present a business pitch, they present like more of an elevator pitch, they have like a little introduction about themselves, and we just coach them and guide them to like, hey, consider this, maybe put this, have you thought about that? We come in with like the outside perspective
Mhm.
that maybe they're not getting. And so we're able to give them some tips and pointers so that when the fight works with both incarcerated and formerly incarcerated. So if folks are still in, they're being set up to be able to
Oh,
step out and be successful. If they are already out, we're going through this process also of like, you got your job and you're doing what you need to do, but here's this additional piece and here's this additional thing that you can do that is really setting you up to be successful and to reintegrate fully into society. I forget their rate, but people that go through their entrepreneurship training at Defy, I think they have like a less than 10% rate of recidivism, which is crazy, but because that's not the norm, right?
yeah,
It's such a significant number. And it shows what happens when you actually invest in humans, right? When you actually set them up for success, you're not just like, all right, you go through this thing that is traumatic in itself, right? If you look at the whole process, it's
yeah,
traumatizing from whatever offense they committed. Think about like what are the things that led to that, to the actual event, and then to the time they're going to spend inside. Um, that is that's a lot, right? So we are supporting them in that process of being able to step out and do things that help them be successful. There are different moments in the events where we have it's not just come in and like here's my business pitch and like here's my business and this is what I'm trying to do. There's real moments of connection as well. There's real moments of who is this person that's standing across me. And so
yeah,
I love, I love these sessions because they are very humanizing. They are reminders of community, and they are reminders of just like we're just people. We're just
yeah,
people moving through this world and trying to do the best we can with the tools that we've been given. So I feel every time that I get more than what I give them while I'm there, because it's always like I come out feeling like a different person every time.
yeah. It's really empowering to hear all that and that an organization like this exists in LA. And I feel like that is a sector of society that we really need to focus on. And yeah, people helping people, like
Hmm.
being of service is
Yep.
so integral to who we are as a society and community building. That's just something, a pillar of myself as well that I volunteer with an environmental group. And
Okay.
like that's also something that is near and dear to my heart. So it's really cool to see, you focusing on that and also really being integrated in society. And I feel like when we're being of service, we have like this fire lit in us and
Hmm.
light fires in others. And it's just so, yeah, it's really heartwarming to hear all of that. So yeah, I really would love to have everyone volunteer somewhere so they like feel
Yes.
that
It's beautiful. It's
that
such a
healing.
beautiful thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, I feel you.
Yeah. So I know there's been a lot of changes and transformations happening. How do you anticipate the year to come? And I know you are, expecting, and I know it's just you can't predict everything. But is there anything exciting that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So many exciting things. Like, of
Yeah.
course, we are expecting a little boy that is, has been a great motivator for me. And, I can't wait for February 14. That's
Oh,
our it's our due date. Other than that, there's a couple things cooking. I'm working on launching a creative coaching practice. So really work with creatives on how to dismantle this idea of struggling artists, of
Hmm.
the broke artists, right? There are ways to make money and have a lifestyle that aligns to what you want to do, and it doesn't have to be the struggle bus if you are a creative, if you are an artist. So building that out, and I'm launching it in 2026 with the thrift bus. We got some fun stuff cooking. We're expanding and we're growing. One of the shifts that we're making is creating a more personalized, mindful shopping experience for folks.
Hmm.
So more to come on that. And I am working on a book.
Oh my God.
So
Everything.
uh that is coming together as well. I don't have a specific date yet, but 2026, Juan Varela is going to drop a book.
Yeah, us creatives, like there's multiple things happening
All
all
the
at
things, all the things, all the things.
once. Uh,
Multifaceted beings. That's what we do.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
I think that's really cool, the thrift bus like model, like it's being personalized. I feel like that is the future of fashion anyway. So I'm excited to see that happening. And I also like as a creative, I would love guidance
Yes,
on where to, output my creativity, how to best, output it in the world. And it also like the internal like struggles you have as an artist. It would be so helpful to have like that mentorship and guidance. So that's something that's so needed. So I'm excited for you on all
thank you,
accounts.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for being on the podcast, and I'm excited to see what comes about next year.
Mel, thank you so much for having me. It's been definitely a vibe. What a great way to start my Saturday. I appreciate you, and I'll see you at the next open mic.
Yes, yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you.